Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, settle in, and let's sit with something today that most people spend enormous energy trying to escape. And that turns out, on closer examination, to be closer to a doorway than a wall. Imagine being offered two envelopes. The first contains a complete account of the next 10 years of your life, every relationship, every success, every loss, every turning point, written out in full. Nothing withheld, nothing left open. The second envelope is empty. No answers, no predictions, no guarantee about anything. Which would you choose? Most people reach for the first one immediately, and the impulse makes complete sense. Certainty feels like safety. Knowing what is coming feels, in the imagination at least, like a form of protection, as though having the information would make the difficult things easier to bear and the good things more fully appreciated. But stay with the choice for a moment longer. If you knew exactly how every chapter of the next decade would unfold, every person you would meet, every opportunity that would appear and disappear, every unexpected development that would change the direction of things, what would happen to the quality of your actual experience of those years? The conversations, the discoveries, the moments that arrive from nowhere and become the ones you carry for the rest of your life. Most of what makes a life genuinely worth living lives inside the second envelope, inside the uncertainty that the first one would eliminate. Uncertainty is not comfortable, and it is not meant to be pretended comfortable. The fear of it is real, and it is old, far older than any of the specific situations that currently trigger it. For most of human history, not knowing what was coming was genuinely dangerous. And the mind developed a strong and reliable tendency to treat open questions as threats requiring urgent attention. The same system that once scanned the horizon for physical danger now scans the inbox, the relationship, the career, the future, and generates the same quality of alarm, the same urgency toward resolution that it would have generated for a genuinely life-threatening situation. The alarm is real. The danger it is responding to is often considerably less immediate than it feels. A teacher was once asked by a student how to stop being afraid of the future. The teacher considered the question, and then asked one in return. Have you ever actually been in the future? The student said no. The teacher said, then why are you spending so much time there? The answer, of course, is that the mind goes to the future involuntarily and frequently. It is one of the things the mind does, one of its default orientations when it is not occupied with something immediate. The practice is not to prevent the mind from visiting the future, which is not possible, but to notice when it is there, and to bring it back, repeatedly, to the place where life is actually occurring. The Taoists found in the natural world a consistent model for how to inhabit uncertainty without being consumed by it. A river moving through a landscape does not know what the next bend contains. It has no map of the territory ahead, no guarantee that the path will remain clear, no certainty about what it will encounter between here and the sea. It moves anyway, not blindly, not carelessly, but with the simple faithfulness of following what is available in the present moment and adapting to what each new stretch of ground reveals. The river's trust is not in a predetermined outcome. It is in the movement itself, in the continuity of its own nature through whatever the landscape presents. Human beings tend to want something the river does not require, to see the whole path before taking the next step. The desire is understandable. Life has produced genuine difficulty before, and the mind, having catalogued those difficulties, wants to prevent the next ones by seeing them coming far enough in advance to prepare. But preparation and seeing the whole path are different things. Genuine preparation, The practical work of attending to what is actually available and doing it well is useful and worth doing. The demand to see everything in advance before committing to any movement tends to produce not safety, but paralysis. Clarity about the path tends to arrive through movement, not through the prolonged contemplation of staying still. There is something worth examining in what the fear of uncertainty is actually about, because it is not always about the uncertain situation itself. Underneath many cases of difficulty with the unknown is a quieter, more fundamental question. Can I be trusted to handle what comes? Not whether the future will cooperate, but whether you are capable of meeting it. This distinction matters because the first question has no reliable answer. The future will do what it does, while the second has a record you can actually examine. You have navigated every uncertain chapter that has so far arrived. Some of those chapters were genuinely hard, and some of them required things of you that the previous version of yourself would not have believed were available. The evidence of what you have already been through is the most honest answer available to the question of what you can handle, and that evidence tends to be considerably more encouraging than the anxious mind's assessment of it. Think about the things in your own life that arrived from the uncertain territory, the things you did not plan for, could not have predicted, that appeared from exactly the unknown space that the fear of uncertainty was designed to close off. The friendships that formed from an unexpected encounter. The direction that opened from a situation that first appeared as a loss. The understanding that came only after something fell apart in a way that made room for something better. Most of what has genuinely mattered in most people's lives arrived this way, not through the controlled realization of a carefully managed plan, but through the territory that could not be predicted in advance, and that turned out to contain more than the plan could have held. The Zen image of the traveler with a lantern is worth holding. He wanted the lantern to illuminate the entire forest, to show him not just the next step, but the full path, the destination, everything between here and there. An old monk told him simply, "You only need enough light for the next step," and with each step taken, more of the path appeared. Not all of it, never all of it, but always enough to continue. This is how most lives actually move, when they are moving honestly. Not with the whole map revealed in advance, but with the next step available, and then the one after that, the path unfolding in proportion to the willingness to walk it. As we close today, I want to leave you with a question worth carrying without pressure. What uncertainty are you currently fighting hardest? And what would become available in your energy, your presence, your capacity to actually inhabit the life you are in? If you loosened the fight, just slightly, and allowed the next step to be enough for today. The uncertainty is not standing between you and your life. It is part of your life. And perhaps learning to walk alongside it, rather than waiting for it to resolve before you begin, is one of the more freeing things available to you right now. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, be well.